Scorpio Ophiuchus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for August 29th through the 4th of September, 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so Scorpio Ophiuchus, a very important week here in the astrology. Essentially, we've got a solar eclipse taking place here in your 10th house. So this is the house of your career. This is the house of your aspirations in terms of your productive aspirations, your productive life, your public life even for those of you involved with that, and fundamentally your legacy. You know, what you're here to cultivate and really leave society in this life. So this has already been the undertone of the year. We've had the North Node transitioning into this 10th house of yours, setting the stage for these eclipses this year. And you may have noticed that things are pushing you towards this area of life to now put energy towards your legacy, your career, or your productive life. So this solar eclipse is creating new beginnings with this, and it will be on Thursday. So as we approach it throughout the week, it's good to let the energies die down a bit, you know, to get that alone time, maybe reflect on things in a meditative sort of way. And then from Thursday onward, see where it sort of takes you, see what insights come your way, and what intentions you can set to cultivate these new beginnings here, because they're very transformative. You know, it's like a new moon, but with the node, with the eclipse. It's basically a new beginning that is changing your life path and your life path direction, which again has been pushing you here to cultivate these big picture things in your life. Now, this solar eclipse is challenging collectively speaking, but of course, like I always say with these challenging aspects, to challenge ourselves, right? We've got this T-square with Saturn and Neptune giving us this opportunity to challenge ourselves both personally with Saturn and also spiritually with Neptune. Now, with Saturn, this has been Saturn in your first house this year, helping you maybe assume some responsibilities. Some of you are working hard. Some of you are assuming some responsibilities you hadn't before, and you're learning how to work with it, you know, through patience, discipline. Some of you are just straight up having to, you know, implement these Saturn energies of patience and discipline in your general life. But it's grounding you, you know, it's making you what you might call more mature, which is Saturn in the first house, more wise in that sense, through these types of experiences. And you can build these goals, you can build these things you want in your life, but with Saturn here, it's taking time. And so long as you're seeing the big picture, right? You've got the patience, you got the persistence, you got the willingness to get results, then that's an excellent way of working with this. And that, again, is the square energy of how we can challenge ourselves here. So for you, challenging yourself to take action, to pursue these goals or whatever responsibilities in a healthy and balanced sense, of course. So with that, of course, Saturn is aspecting the 10th. So with these new beginnings, cultivating the patience and discipline with your career, with the productive life, with the legacy. And with Neptune, you guys have been hearing me talk a lot about this, this uncertainty and doubt, right? If the mind tries to get too caught up, this has been this whole year with Saturn squaring Neptune. The uncertainty about what we're building in life. And it's not easy collectively. So the challenge here and where we can challenge ourselves is to have more acceptance, right? Acceptance is really key with Neptune, as best as we possibly can, through the present moment, through, you know, accepting things, both ourselves, both our situations, even in this case, perhaps relationships. And for you, it's particularly involving your roots. Okay, Neptune and the South Node are transiting your fourth house, which is about your home. It's about your family and generally your health as well. So if there's some old energy, some old patterns that you see are repeating in your life, and they have been, you know, again, coming into the picture this year regarding this area, it's good to bring extra attention to them, right? To these feelings. It's very unconscious with the South Node, especially with Neptune, but to bring attention that these feelings or these yearnings are there, because oftentimes there's this yearning for wanting more of something where the South Node is. So maybe wanting more in terms of health or with a location or home or something like that. But there's these old patterns that are creating the yearnings. So it's through the awareness of the patterns and the acceptance of the patterns then they naturally go, right? Everything in the universe wants to naturally move as long as we're not holding on to it. And the South Node is suggesting we might be holding on to some things unconsciously or subconsciously relating to this area. So as we release it, as we do that spiritual work, it'll free us up. It'll liberate us. Both of these planets are about spiritual liberation, of no longer having to pursue, and with Neptune, idealize maybe and put on pedestals some of these fourth house things. So as we live in the present moment as best as we can here, we accept things for how they are as best as we can, then it serves the foundation for us to then much more healthfully pursue that life path, which here is in that 10th house of your, again, work, your career, and your productive life. So, and we have to have a healthy home life, healthy health. We have to be in good health. And these are the foundations that serve the foundations of the entire chart. And without them, we can't pursue things like our career and our productive life if we don't have balance here in these roots. So that's the seemingly paradox between these two areas, but they're really just two sides of the same coin. In order to go into the future, we have to balance our past, and in order to, have that building energy, we have to have a foundation here. So that's solar eclipse, very powerful. Collectively speaking, challenging, but again, it's about challenging ourselves, and in that way, we're in alignment with the time periods, because it's just the T-square is just saying it might be uncomfortable. To an extent, it could be uncomfortable, but if we're the agent of change, then we're in alignment with it versus it feeling like it's happening to us. Pluto is in a good aspect here, trining up to the solar eclipse, which is your modern ruler. So that's good. There is, I think, collectively, especially you guys, probably this willingness to change and this willingness to transform these areas, maybe having to do with the financial, material life. Maybe your sense of self-worth is changing, and that's very supportive. That could be directly supporting these new beginnings with the productive life. All right, so that's the most important event. We do have Mercury going retrograde here on Tuesday before the solar eclipse, so there is some reflection taking place, some redoing, some rethinking, and a lot of this will be about your aspirations, particularly your future aspirations, your hopes, your wishes. Some of you too, the value that you derive from your productive life, which is the 11th house, such as money, but any other value you derive from your work, as well as your network circles, reflecting on that. So that's a good way of working with it. We learn a lot during a Mercury retrograde. We can sometimes be on a bit of an autopilot, so do bring extra attention to these aspirations or these actions you're aspiring to cultivate or learning about, or when you're dealing with networks or groups. Extra attention there can help things be balanced, because with the autopilot sometimes we can just do things and not think about them. So crossing the T's, dotting the I's in that area, so to speak. Now, before Mercury does go retrograde, he is going to be going over Venus here on Monday. So there is this beginning of the week that is really accentuating the values that you certainly can be cultivating with your aspirations and maybe with your friends or network circles. Venus in the 11th can help you attract these things. There's probably a lot of values here, a lot of enjoyment. So it's good. Maybe there's some insights, some things you could be learning about that on Monday. Then midweek, I do want to mention, particularly for you Ophiuchuses, Mars is going to be shifting into Ophiuchus. So for you, this shift is going to be accentuating a bit more energy, perhaps a bit more motivation, a bit more drive, maybe pursuing your goals, your ambitions, and things like that, which is great. And again, because Mars is in this T-square, it is important to bring extra attention to that, make sure everything's nice and balanced, but you guys will likely feel this bit of boost of energy or momentum or motivation of some sort that could be propelling you forward. And that's for both of you, but Scorpios, you've already been feeling this. All right, so that's the Mercury retrograde. At the end of the week, Mercury is going to go over Jupiter, and this is a reminder that recently Jupiter shifted into your 11th house. So there is opportunities through your network circles. There is opportunities through your aspirations, about these future things and possibilities and potentials. So you could be learning about this with Mercury retrograde over Jupiter over the weekend, and maybe even some insights and new beginnings about this as well. All right, so Scorpio Ophiuchus, hope you guys have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.